I'm Ann Mernon, and I've been at Tony's Kitchen for 2.5 years now. I'm the Director of Outreach, so I run the kitchen and the related programs. Tony's Kitchen started a little over 30 years ago by a collection of women at the church and wanted to support people who were in need in terms of food. So they started a soup kitchen. So we started as a very traditional soup kitchen. We serve a midday meal, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then we serve an evening meal on Sundays. We have historically, over the last 5 years, provided some small additional programming. We've done skills training programs to help people find jobs, to develop computer skills. And then we've done some limited health programming for a while now.
We know just by virtue of looking at our population that they're a group that has many chronic health needs. Some of the programs that we've brought in have particularly been nutritionally focused, and we do education programs for the guests.
What we're learning though is that when people come through our doors and we serve them a meal, we begin to break down the barriers that are out there to people reaching out for services.
We respect the guests so much. That's, our main goal is to make them feel that we could be them. We're identifying people who really need help, who kind of fall through the cracks.
I think people come through our doors and they feel warm and they feel welcome and they feel trust. We are at our core a soup kitchen. We are about food, and we will always identify first and foremost as a place where people can come and have a healthy meal in a relaxed atmosphere. But we are so much more than soup, and we're realizing that the more than soup part of Tony's Kitchen is a very important opportunity for us to recognize in order to connect our guests with things that they need.
There's just something about this place. Whenever I walk in, I feel the spirit.
Whenever you walk in here, you feel wonderful and comfortable. The food is delicious.
The atmosphere here at Tony's Kitchen nurtures a feeling of comfort, lightness, and laughter.
Tony's Kitchen has helped me express my feelings, and I've been reaching out and telling people how I feel.
The atmosphere here is enough to bring a depressed person to feeling good. TK is wonderful.
My name is Mary Ann Wren, and I am the coordinator of Tony's Kitchen. Tony's Kitchen started over 25 years ago, and it was started by a group of women here who wanted to do a special Lenten project, and they felt as though feeding the hungry was the work that they wanted to do. And so they researched what other soup kitchens in the area did and how they did it, and they started from scratch. The first cook was Antoinette Green, affectionately known as Tony, and the kitchen grew from that point. They too had a mission of serving their guests. And that's exactly what they did.
You think soup kitchen, you think a line of people, and you think of ladling slop into a soup bowl, and it's the farthest thing from that.
I love the fact that these people here are our guests, just like they'd be your guests in your home. They were to be enjoyed as guests and entertained as guests. And that just sort of synced with me and my feelings 100%.
I never know what I'm getting. I never know how much I'm getting. I never know what's been donated. That's the fun. It's all a surprise. And the challenge is getting it all together, making a really fabulous 4-course meal from stuff that we've created or food that's been donated, and turning out a dynamite meal. And when we plate and we taste everything, it's like, whoa, that's good.
The food in this kitchen is incredible. They make the most amazing meals out of things I would have never known how to use. So that was really impressive. I'd always try and eat the leftovers because they're so good.
I think the biggest surprise or thing that was unexpected has to do with who the people are in need in our community. We see it here way beyond food needs. meeting hunger needs. And so there's been really an outgrowth of that one-to-one ministry beyond feeding the soul.
I'm Jim Snodgrass. I'm retired, but I've been a volunteer at Tony's Kitchen for 3 years now. About 2 years ago, we had some planning sessions with a small committee, which included a former guest at Tony's Kitchen. And we bounced around ideas of what else could we do to help our guests. And one idea that came out was moving from dependence to independence, and the key to that is jobs. And so the next step is, well, how do you apply for jobs in this day and age? What we could do is help our guests become computer users, very simple computer users, in order to do job searches, create email accounts, create simple resumes online. We asked people for donations of used computers, and we were off and running.
Over the past couple of years, the Tony's Kitchen has lived up to its more than soup model, and we have spread out into health screenings. And knowing that we can't do it all ourselves, this is where we've developed linkages with important community resources, and that is what we work the hardest on at this point, and we are being successful with these other community resources.
I guess it was about 4 years ago that I was playing with a group at an interfaith Thanksgiving service here in Montclair, and Marianne Wren approached us afterwards and asked us if we'd want to come and play here at Tony's Kitchen, and I thought it was a great opportunity, so I said yes. I don't know if I had any expectations other than a desire to play music and hopefully bring some sort of joy or maybe entertainment to the people who were eating here.
Sometimes we have Tony's Living Room when there's no soup kitchen open in town, neither ours nor the other soup kitchens. So we have Tony's Living Room, which is an opportunity to come and just watch videos, play games, just fellowship.
My wife has been a volunteer here for several years, and for the last 6 months I've been working with a team of bike riders and volunteers from Tony's to ride in a battle against hunger ride. So over the course of 6 months I got to know the other volunteers who were in our team very, very well. And spirit of fellowship, friendship, camaraderie, and just this spirit of everybody pulling together and looking out for each other. And I said, if this is what Tony's Kitchen is like and this is the spirit of Tony's, I want to be more involved in it, so here I am.
It's the ground zero for miracles to happen. And I say that not thinking of miracles in the extraordinary sense, but miracles in the everyday sense. I know that may be a contradiction, but it's really not if you're here and you see the little kindnesses that change people's lives.
I was a volunteer on a Christmas day, and I was kind of a lark because my name is Rudy. I wore a pair of antlers and with a red nose on it. And there's one guest who's an elderly lady, and she, every time I see her, about every week when I see her, she always says to me, how come you don't have your antlers on today?
It's been a lot of different experiences, and honestly, if I named them all, we'd be here until midnight. I mean, you know, it's everything. It's just the way, you know, the guests, after we've had, you know, they've eaten and get ready to go home, they say thank you, we've had a great time, we enjoyed the meal.
But I feel that the people who's my co-worker, they are a very nice person, and the people who come to eat, they're very humility person, and I feel like working with them to give something is something that I consider very important in my life.
The people who work for Tony's Kitchen, the volunteers, we all realize that in a split second our lives might change, and we would need to have the service and how important it is. And I learned also that the guests who come to Tony's Kitchen are fabulous people, regardless of why they're coming. It's just been an incredible experience.
This is a ministry that is about our guests, and they come first. And as we serve them in that process, we are also fed and nurtured. And one of my favorite scripture quotes is, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all else will be added unto you."
Tony's Kitchen, more than soup.
I've been coming here for about 2.5 years, and I met a wonderful, wonderful person. Joseph Hand was his name, and we remained very good friends until the time of his passing, which was a week ago. And it was a pleasure and an honor and a blessing to know him.
history, but it did seem like something that, as it progressed, it was hard just to let go, just to think this thing was going to happen without any kind of documentation at all.
It's a reportage of some sort, you know.
It felt like we needed to do something about it. I mean, it started out that we were going to do just the simplest thing. We were going to do a little 16mm thing just to get it on film, so, you know, someday we could look at it or we could do, and it just, it snowballed, you know, and when I got up enough nerve to ask Martin Scorsese to become involved with it, then we crossed over the line between amateur time and real filmmaker time.
Could you concentrate it on it as a musical event, knowing that the elaborate preparations had been taken to record it on 35mm film in a way never been done before? I guess I have to ask you that as a musician, Robbie. If it affected your playing, your whole approach to the evening?
No, it didn't, because Marty had figured it out in such a way that that the cameras did not become an imposition on the audience or the people that were performing. Because you have one of those big Panavision cameras come zooming by you, you forget who you are.
Martin, you have made such films as Taxi Driver, Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, many award-winning other documentaries and so forth. You had literally one chance at this. It was one concert. You couldn't redo it, you couldn't retake it, you couldn't make it like an ordinary movie, right? Mm-hmm. It was a single event. Why would you want to take that on when you've dealt with the movie technique, which is take after take after take?
Well, I just finished shooting New York, New York. I shot that for 22 weeks, and I couldn't stop. I just wanted to shoot more. Whatever, you know. And Jonathan Taplin, who produced Mean Streets, introduced Robbie to me, and said, there's going to be a lot of people at the concert, and the band, I felt, was important to, as a group and a figure in music, to record their last concert. And I figured at least it would be a reportage, you know, if anything. Mm-hmm. And then when we saw the results, we decided to shoot it in 35mm. And I placed the camera in 7 35mm cameras. In certain
Seven?
Positions. Yeah, 7. And we had a lot of guest operators, like Laszlo Kovacs, Vilma Sigmund, people like that, who came in for one day for the concert. And Bobby Byrne and people who are now DPs, directors of photography. And we saw that somehow the 35mm brought out the expressions of the band, the people on the stage. I decided not to shoot audience either, because we've seen so many concert films where you see audience, no audience. Otherwise, we do see the audience in their point of view, from Robbie's point of view, from behind, or whatever, that sort of thing. And somehow we felt that when we saw the rushes, we realized that we had a little more than we thought we got, you know, and we were going to get. And then it's kind of snowballed into a situation where I shot another whole week of 3 songs. One called The Wait, another song called Evangeline, another called the Last Waltz Suite. And I did that at MGM Studios. And those were done like a feature, literally like a feature film. And that's after the film was sold to United Artists. That took 3 days to shoot The Wait alone, one song, with the Staple Singers. And 2 days for Evangeline, 1 day for the Last Waltz Suite, which ends the film. And also then 4 days documentary. So it took a while to shoot the whole picture and then put it together. And it becomes like not like a recording of a concert, but like a kind of like a strange like oratorio or something. It goes on and on, and the music one song leads to another, which leads to an emotionally. One works emotionally, see, and it talks about the different influences of music and how it all blends together and how it the music influenced by influenced by, you know.
How would you communicate between 7 all-star cameramen when there is a concert going on that is not a string quartet?
It was 3 weeks. 3 weeks before, right after shooting New York, there was 3 weeks I had. And Robbie gave me all the lyrics of the songs and gave me the actual lineup of the 7-hour concert. And in one column he had who was singing what part, then he had the lyrics. Another column he had what instruments were important. Then there was another column for lighting and another column for camera. So I fill in those 2. I worked on lighting, worked on the sets with Boris Levin, who did New York, New York, and West Side Story and Sound of Music, and Mike Chapman helped me with some of the lighting. And I did the camera positions too. So cameramen basically memorized their positions. And whenever they run out of film, they sort of run back to the script, which was about 200 pages. And run back and say, oh, I'm supposed to be on Levon here, on drums. Okay, you know, and also I had a intercom, which was hard to use because you're right on the stage, you know, and it's blasting. And all you hear is, somebody yelling, "You're off the line," which means who's off the line? What camera? Who's covering whom? It was chaos, But we had the script though. We could always refer back to that script, see. And I don't believe any other concert film was scripted.
You wouldn't repeat yourself, would you? This having been done, would you now want to do anything else musically?
Sure. Sure. I don't know. In terms of, it's really the matter of the music. I mean, the band was the most important to me, you see. And Neil Young and Van Morrison and Dylan and Muddy Waters and people like that, and Eric Clapton, Johnny Mitchell. It's all very important people to me. I use Eric Clapton's music in Mean Streets, and I use it, so it's they all connect. Yeah. It all means a great deal to me.